welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today I have got my final book haul of 2020. Now these books I have been buying for like the past couple of months, so November and December. I'm really excited to show them to you. I was thinking about possibly filming this video in January as I've got a couple of gift cards for Christmas, but I want to put these books back on my shelves, or actually like find them at home on my shelves, and then I can have a reshuffle of my TBR cart. So let's film the final haul of 2020. That was what I was thinking. Now a couple of these books you will have already seen if you have watched the unboxing videos for them, and as I go through them I will link the video that I've already filmed with the rest of the boxes up above. I am not including any of like the subscription box books that I've got in the past couple of months. I talk about them enough. You can find all those videos on my channel, and I also really wanted to get to these books and film them so I can finally read them, because quite a few of them you'll see again in my January TBR. That is going to be a really good video. I have got a cracking readathon to take part of. I can't wait, I'm so excited. But let's get on into the video. So the first book I'm going to talk about is actually two, and that is Skyward and Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. These are obviously part of the same series, I think. Now these are not obviously the series that everyone says to start with. Everyone says to start with Mistborn, but Starsight came out recently and it was on 2 for 1 in Waterstones when I went in, so I thought, why not? I'll buy these two and then another one that is in this pile to go with this one. But I'm just going to read the back of the book for you. As always, all of the Goodreads links to all of these books will be linked down below. Please check them out. My descriptions are terrible, and I'll probably be reading off the back of the books for most of these because I have not read them yet. I do usually get a bit better once I've read them, but we shall see. So this is the first one in the duology currently. There are going to be more books coming out, and this just says, the world has been under attack for hundreds of years. An alien race called the Krell leads onslaught after onslaught from the sky in a never-ending campaign to destroy humankind. Humanity's only defense is to take to their ships and fight the enemy in the skies. Pilots have become the heroes of what's left of the human race, and Spencer has always dreamed of becoming one of them. But the chances of that happening were slim to none, at least until the Krell doubled their attacks. It's possible that humanity's desperation to survive will finally take her skyward. So something that isn't mentioned on the back that I do actually know about this book is that Spencer's dad is actually a traitor, and that is why they don't want to accept her into the like pilot school that she's trying to get to. I think that's an interesting like twist. I feel as though Brandon Sanderson does that a lot, like from what I know about the books. Obviously I haven't read them, but he seems to take stories and like twist them in ways that you probably wouldn't expect, but ways that you love. So I cannot wait to get to this. I believe I'm reading this in January, hopefully, and I am looking to pick up the Mistborn series as well to get to. But you know, there's many of those books. I keep trying to find the trilogy on a book site that I use that like does discounted book collections, but it just always seems to be out of stock at the minute. So you know, maybe one day. The next book that I got at the exact same time as these books, and was also the other part of my 2 for 1 offer, is The Master of Sorrows by Justin Call. Now this has actually been on my Amazon wishlist for the longest time, but it was in hardback, so I didn't actually buy it because it was a little bit pricey. I mean, hardbacks are generally like more pricey, but when I saw this in paperback I was like, now's the time. So this one I know is set in an academy, and again on the back it says, the Academy of Chen Balu has stood against magic for centuries. Hidden from the world, acting from the shadows, it trains its students to detect and retrieve magic artifacts, which it jealously guards from the misuse of others. Because magic is dangerous, something that heals can also harm, and a power that aids one person may destroy another. Of the Academy's many students, only the most skilled become avatars, warrior thieves capable of infiltrating the most heavily guarded vaults, and only the most determined are trusted to resist the lure of magic. More than anything, Aniv Debreth wants to become one of them. And this is book 1. I believe book 2 is coming out like 2021. I think, or maybe it's already out. But now that I have the paperback version of this one, I'm going to obviously have to wait for the second one to come out in paperback, but that's completely fine. This book intrigued me because it's not often that I, in particular, have found a book that talks about magic, but people guarding magic from other people, as in not to be religious or not to share their secrets, but not to share magic at all, like to see magic as like a very bad thing. And I think it'd be such an interesting like fantasy world to dive into. Also has a map. Like there's, again, I think I'm looking at to read this in January, but who doesn't love a good map? That's not very close, is it? I love a good map. I think they're amazing. The next book that I'm going to talk about is one that you've already seen me read and talk about, and that's Wonderland by Juno Dawson. So this one I just put back on my shelf after I did read it, because I really wanted to read it at that point for the Clear Your Shit readathon, and I wasn't as impressed as I thought I would be, which sucks, if I'm completely honest. Maybe in a little while, in a year or two, I'll give it another chance. Try it again. Maybe it was me, I don't know. But if you want to hear my like full thoughts about this book, I'll link the wrap up here. I believe it was November. It must have been, because it was for Clear Your Shit, so it must have been November. So I'll link November up above. Check that out. It's alright. It's an Alice in Wonderland retelling. Should probably just give you that bit of information. The next book I need to actually start reading, because my friend is already reading it for our buddy read, and that is The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin, which is the second book in the Broken Earth trilogy. I can't really tell you an awful lot about this because, you know, it's a sequel, but in the first one we are following a slew of characters, and it is set in a world where the world tears itself apart a lot, if I'm completely honest, and I have to admit it is very adult. This is adult fantasy. Check the trigger warnings, because my gosh, I kind of walked in a bit blind. But luckily for me, I am not... There are very certain triggers I find, so the ones that are actually in these books weren't an issue for me. Does that make sense? I think it does. But yes, I do recommend checking out this fantasy series. They all have these lovely non-removable stickers on. Why do people do this? Because it was the winner of the Hugo Award, and I believe the first one won a Hugo Award, and I don't think the last one did, according to the back of this book. You know. There's not really a lot I can say about this book. I did really enjoy the first book in this series. Again, I think I read it in November. I absolutely adored it. I thought it was great. The premise is that you are following the... There's like... The points of view are 3 different points of view. One of my favourites was Essen, who is a mother who can channel the Earth's energy into themselves. I think that's probably like the worst description of that book, but anyways, she is one of them, and she loses her daughter in the first one, and we are carrying on to follow her in this book. And the other 2 points of view are pretty good as well, if I'm honest. I found the younger one a little bit whiny, but she's a child, so what do you expect? But yes, and I loved the twists and turns in that series. Highly check it out. If you're a fantasy reader and you like adult fantasy books, check it out. They are super good. A little bit confusing to start with, but still super good. And now we are on to the final book that I bought that wasn't a special edition from a subscription box. I think that makes sense. And that is The Devil and the Dark Water by Stuart Turnton. Now, this is not the sort of book that I thought I would pick up. However, I found this lovely signed edition, sprayed edges, beautifulness. I did originally see the Bloomsbury edition and I loved that one. But then I didn't get it. And then I saw this one in Waterstones and I was like, oh my goodness, like this is stunning. And I was like, no, I'm not sure if I want to read it, so I'm going to put it down. And then when I went to our local Waterstones, they didn't have this edition because I'd kind of talked myself into buying it, and I was sad. And that's how I knew I needed it, because I was like, well, if this is making me sad, then I need it in my collection. Like, it's stunning. So I bought it. 2020 has been hard, okay? Treat yourself to books. That is what I've been doing. I've taken the treat yourself advice a little bit too far. But anyways, this book, I'm going to read the blurb because it's set in like the 1600s and it sounds incredible. And it's like a thrillery, supernaturally thing. So I'm going to read it to try and make it make sense. It's 1634 and Samuel Pepys, the world's greatest detective, is being transported from the Dutch East Indies to Amsterdam, where he is facing trial and execution for a crime he may or may not have committed. Travelling with him is his loyal bodyguard, Aunt Hayes, who is determined to prove his friend innocent, while also on board are Sarah Wessel, a noblewoman with a secret, and her husband, the Governor-General of Batavia. Batavia? Maybe that one. But no sooner is their ship out to sea than devilry begins to blight the voyage. A strange symbol appears on the sail, a dead leper stalks the decks, livestock are slaughtered in the night. And then the passengers hear a terrible voice whispering to them in the darkness, promising them 3 unholy miracles. First, an impossible pursuit. Second, an impossible theft. Third, an impossible murder. Could a demon be responsible for their misfortunes? With Pips imprisoned, only Aunt and Sarah can solve a mystery that stretches back into their past and now threatens to sink the ship, killing everybody on board. Well, doesn't that just sound spiffing? I really like the sound of that. Again, it's not something that I would usually go for, but the cover kind of drew me in. It's kind of like a pretty cover by thing. But I have decided that if I like this one, I will actually buy The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hugo. Oh no, it's not that one. I'm mixing up 2 books, aren't I? It's the 7.5 Husbands, or the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That is not what he wrote. He wrote The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. So if I like this book, I might check that one out, because I know that one is spoken about a lot. The last 2 are ones that I actually got from like subscription boxes, but only one of them I've actually done an unboxing for, and that is this one, and that is The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Lani Taylor. I have not read this popular series at all, so I've got the Illumicrate edition and I've pre-ordered the sequels that are coming out in May, I think. But yeah, this book looks stunning. Again, kind of like a special edition purchase that I really try hard not to do, because I don't need any more like decorative things on my shelves, but I want them. But anyways, so I have unboxed the full box for this, and I'll link it up above for you now. And I've gone through the whole description of that book there. The thing that I find really intriguing about this book is just like the whole premise. Like, there is a young girl who's an orphan and she collects teeth for this like demon kind of thing, but she doesn't remember how she came into his employ and she doesn't really know why. And to me, that rings a lot of alarm bells. But I've never been put in the position of which I am asked to collect teeth for a demon. So there's all that. But yeah, that is one that I'm looking forward to finally getting into. I think most of these I'm reading in January, apparently. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the January TBR. But yeah, can't wait to actually get into this one. And finally, the final book of this haul. I said I got it from a subscription box. I did. I got it from Fairy Loot. But it's not a special edition box thing, so there's nothing to link it to. But everyone should know this genuinely, because there's been a lot of hype about it, and it's How the King of Valfarm Learned to Hate. I now have 2 copies of this stunning book. This one has gold edges and obviously like all of this prettiness on the cover, which is stunning. And then I also have the Waterstones exclusive edition for the artwork, and I can't wait to put them both on my shelves. One of which, I read the Waterstones edition this month, so that'll be in my wrap up. Looking forward to that as well. So there's that. This is basically just a collection of short stories by Holly Black about Carden from the Folk of the Air trilogy, about why he's a bit of a, what's a PG word for that? He's a bit of a butt. But yeah, this just kind of explains a little bit more why he is how he is, and it also gives you like a glimpse into the future with him and Jude, which I actually personally found to be the my favourite bit of this whole book. And the artwork in these are stunning. Like, where is a good example? And I'll show you. There is usually one. There you go, right at the front. Look at the artwork. Stunning. Love it. So those are all of the books that I'm going to be talking about in this end of year haul. There are not that many books, I suppose, but I suppose at the same time, if I spoke through every single book that I bought this year, there would be quite a few. Lockdown was hard, and I have actually read quite a few of them, believe it or not, from my physical TBR video that you may or may not have seen. But yes, that is everything for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like. It really supports me and my channel. Have you read any of these books? Do you have any recommendations of what I should get with my gift card? Let me know down below. I have a few ideas, but you know, outside input is always welcome. And if you want to see more of me, I have some great content coming. Vlogging is coming back in the new year, every Sunday, in theory, possibly. And I've got some other cool videos in mind that I want to do. One that I came up with last year that I just never got around to filming, and I need the weather to be a little bit warmer to do that one. But yeah, consider subscribing to me if you want to see, you know, whether I read these books, whether my physical TBR goes down next year, all of that fun stuff. Consider subscribing. It's fun here, I promise. But that's all for today's video. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye.